So today in this video, I will be talking and contributing the whole video to a topic that's called fear. And let me attribute to a book that is called The Monk Mind, from where I've actually adopted too many knowledge and attained so many experiences. And actually I had the opportunity to deep dive into the word fear. Basically, when you hear the term fear, which is barely four-lettered word, that's called F-E-A-R, what kind of scenario, what kind of scene, or what kind of picture does it portray, does it display in your mind? Just think of it. Whenever you hear the word fear, more often than not, we are often hit by a word that's negativity. We think that fear is a negative word. We've always been taught by our parents, be afraid of that, look at that cat. My parents sometimes have made me fearful for certain things that they didn't want me to do. Say for example, don't ride your bike so fast or else you should fall down or you might end up hurting yourself. So they were like putting a fear in my mind that if I ride fast, I will fall and I will end up hurting myself. Hurting myself leads to damaging my body parts. Damaging my body parts will lead to bad consequences. So all in all, in this picture, my parents have made a scenario, made a mindset of mine in such a way that negativity is attached to fear and fear is often accompanied by negativity. So today in this video, I'm going to take you guys to the real definition of what fear is. Fear is nothing but a signal that something might go wrong. Let's say that you're going on the road and you are walking on the wrong side. So there will be a fear, there should be a fear in your heart that will be alarming you that you're wrong, that you are on the wrong side, and chances are that you are likely to meet with an accident. Right? That's not a negative fear. That's like a constructive fear. There are constructive fears and destructive fears. Let me explain that a bit in brief. Constructive fears are those fears which alert you about the danger and it also guides you for the better opportunities that is offered by the fear. And let's talk about destructive fear, which often tells you that you might not be able to do it, or perhaps it kind of like allures, it kind of like tries to terrify you of something bad. So for example, let's take an example of public speaking. Whenever you go on the stage or when it comes to speaking in English, what fear comes to your mind? I can guess it, and some of the basic assumptions of fear that perhaps people might judge you, you will be ashamed of talking, you will be embarrassed of talking. What if you make a mistake? What if people have a very negative opinion of you? What if people perceive you as an unconfident person? What if you make a mistake? Your image will be deteriorated and whatnot. So this is what fear is, right? But let me tell you, fear are always categorized in two parts, constructive and destructive. Redefining it again, constructive fears are good for you because they alert you for the hurdles that coming your way and they also guide you for the opportunities. Now let's talk about this. Sometimes we manage to notice the fear and its alarm, but we fail at recognizing the opportunities that is offered by the fear. Let me repeat that for you. Sometimes we manage to notice the alertness, we manage to notice the problem that our fear comes along, but we fail at recognizing the opportunities that is offered by our fear. Not every fear comes into your life to destruct you or to keep you away from certain things. If I am playing with fire, my fear should be that I might get burnt. But if I'm talking in public with my friends and family, and if I'm required to speak in English, and if I am so afraid of getting judged, if I'm so afraid of being laughed at, being mocked at, then I think it's absolutely bullshit, right? It's kind of like giving me an opportunity to converse with people, to communicate, to get over this, right? You can only dispose of your fear of public speaking by practicing it more. And how will it happen? When you overcome the fear of being judged. Second thing, try to establish a good relationship with your fear. What do I mean by that? Many times when we hear the word fear, we think that's a negative word and we try to avoid it. We think that we have to be fearless, but I have not seen any guy in my life who has been fearless. You claim to be fearless, right? If I ask you a question, are you fearless? You would say that I'm not afraid of anything. I fear nothing in life. But do you really mean it? Do you have a good relationship with your fears? If you think you are fearless, you perhaps not have a good relationship. What do I mean by that? Let's say Maybe let's take you back in your old days when you were in your school, and if you're still in your school, then you can relate to that. When your final exams used to approach, wouldn't you get so terrified? Didn't you used to get so apprehensive and tensed that your exams are approaching, your results are nearing, what you might fail, what you might not be able to attempt the questions, what you might let down your parents' expectation, what you might get beaten up, right? There were too many failures that we tackled. There were too many fears that we overcame. Similarly, even at this stage of life, there are too many things that can terrify us and that has the potential to keep us away from our abilities. Let me define the fear to you. Fear does nothing but it simply keeps you away from your abilities. It kind of like restrain, it kind of like reframes you from doing your best. Fear is like an obstacle which always keeps you away from your abilities. So establish a good relationship, know the root of your problem, try to understand and go down to the root of your fear. Considering that, let's, for instance, taking an example of our public speaking. What are you exactly afraid of? Just ask yourself a very basic question. When you say that I'm afraid of public speaking, what actually do you fear? Do you fear speaking in public? Do you fear the audience are ahead of you? Do you fear their judgment? Or do you really fear their perception of you? There are too many things. Let me tell you once again, you do not have a good relationship with your own fear. You are not very confirmed and assured of what is your fear. You are simply being obsessed with the word without knowing the actual meaning of it. Third thing, once you establish good relationship with your fear, now try to detach yourself from the fear. Okay, just try to detach yourself with the fear. Because fear does no good. Fear only kind of like guides you. The best person is the one who takes the opportunities, avails all the opportunities and move on. So don't let the fear dominate you. You have to overcome it. Take it as a lesson. Take it as one stepping stone. Build a castle out of those stones. Don't let it go in vain. Well, with that, I would say the best way to tackle the fear is to face it. There is no other way. No at all. And with that, I will leave you guys with this suggestion. Go and follow that book, The Monk Mind. And there are too many books related to that. You read whatever you love, like I always say. Thank you. And if you like the video, then please consider subscribing, since I have been trying really hard to grow this channel. And I'll see you guys in the next video. Let's stick to the journey.